Hey guys, this is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Welcome back to Clownfish TV. This NFT thing is getting more and more ridiculous daily. Now we've got a comic creator being threatened over an NFT webcomic strip.
That was a parody.
It was a parody. And they're being threatened with physical violence over doing a comic making fun of NFTs, but apparently someone thought they were being serious.
Well, we've gotten threats. We've gotten threats over stupid things like cartoon shows. So,
oh my God,
what else is new?
We get threats over stupid cartoon shows all the time. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Further proving Twitter is a dumpster fire.
But this NFT thing is such a non-controversy. Like everybody, this is the hill you're dying on. You realize that the platforms that you're using to harass artists are probably going all in on NFT and blockchain.
Well,
right?
Twitter is.
Twitter is.
And they're fine to use Twitter, and they're all using Twitter, so therefore in a way supporting NFTs, and then yelling if somebody else does something that they think is in a roundabout way supporting NFTs.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. We're going to talk about this. It was on Deserto, but I actually got to give a hat tip to Bounding in the Comics, who posted the original article. They got it from Deserto. We'll talk about this. Absolutely ridiculous situation, and I think we're going to see more and more of this. I mean, we've seen people turn on Kickstarter over NFTs. We've seen people turn on comic book publishers and comic book creators over NFTs, and it seems to really be in the art space particularly. And the justification for the harassment is always like, you're hurting the environment.
Yeah, well, short of everybody not using the internet at all ever, you're not going to hurt the environment, because y'all on Twitter spending hours, going around being outraged, which is hurting the environment. And even if everybody went off the internet tomorrow, before the internet and paperless billing and all that, they cut down a shit ton of trees to make paper to mail stuff to you.
Yeah, there we go. We should all stop paying bills. We need
there you go.
Outlaw money because
save the environment.
Trees are dying. Trees are dying so they can print bills. I love it when I enroll in like auto pay on bills, and they still send me paper bills.
A lot of times they don't, but
why do I need the paper? What am I going to do?
Why
with
are you killing trees for that? But
yeah,
I'm like, they have no problem with that. But short of everyone not using the internet at all, you're not really going to change much about the environmental impact.
So let's talk about the impact that the NFT debate has had on the art community.
The stupidity?
The stupidity. And this will end because eventually every damn platform you use on the internet is going to have blockchain or crypto or NFTs attached to it. I am sorry. They're getting better at the carbon footprint, all of that jazz. If you don't like it, get off the internet, because Web3 is going to be a completely different ballgame.
I just love people that are so upset about carbon footprints, but then they buy like electronic cars, which have like the cobalt in the batteries, and there's a lot of things that can't be, they're terrible. Child labor too.
Child labor. Yeah, child labor.
Someone want to tell me where plastic comes from?
No, the plastic fairy.
Electronic cars and even like windmills and stuff, they all use oil to run.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. Over 261,000 subs. We do talk about making comics, talk about the comic book industry. We've been talking about NFTs because the comic book industry, comics creators and artists on Twitter have lost their collective shit over NFTs. And personally, I think they're kind of stupid.
Yeah, they're not my thing either. I just think I think it's an awful lot of money for what it is. It's kind of dumb.
You want to spend $100,000 of your own money on a JPEG of an ugly ass ape? Go for it.
Do you want to spend $100,000 of your own money on a JPEG of a fish? Just talk to Neon. We'll gladly take your $100,000.
Yeah, I'll draw you a JPEG of a fish. It could be like, vaping or something.
We'll have like different
fish.
Versions of Steve for $100,000. Hell, I'll take your money.
There you go. Get your own rare...
if you want to throw your money away,
we'll take your money.
We'll take it.
Whatever. Anyway, VTuber Merryweather forced to delete comic criticizing NFTs. Now, this is the thing. The comic was a parody. It was actually criticizing NFTs. But some people, I think, took it to mean that they were endorsing NFTs.
It's really funny.
Popular anime-style comic creator and Twitch VTuber Merryweather was forced to delete a comic taking aim at the environmental impact of NFTs after receiving death threats. Oh my God, we've never gotten those before.
No, I don't mean to be fair. She probably got he or she. Honestly,
it's a he.
Got it probably from both sides. I'm sure people that knew that they was making fun of it probably you know, because you always have these extreme people who just go, you know, 0 to crazy over like one thing on the internet.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, you know, being a former journalist, right? I can
we
look.
kind of technically still are.
Technically, sort of pseudo journalists. But I can kind of tell like which topics bring the crazies out because you always see an uptick of activity after certain topics, and you're like, what is this person so angry about? Because a lot of times they won't tell you what they're angry about, but they're like, oh, we got like 4 death threats after we did another She-Ra video. Oh, okay. That tracks.
Well, sometimes
now we know.
You actually will deliberately make the image, you know, so you would know it would make them mad just to see if they go on there and start screaming about something that's not what we said at all. We might say the opposite, but, you know, let's talk about it. And then they'll be like, well, you had a question mark, but I didn't see the question mark.
Die salty, bitch. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this. Merryweather is one of the internet's top comic creators, frequently incorporating pop culture references, including gaming, anime, and all sorts of internet tropes. The comic has amassed a huge following with over 700,000 on Twitter and 650,000 on Facebook. However, their latest comic was met with disdain from fans who took their displeasure with it to the extreme. This is the tweet. Due to threats of violence and verbal harassment, I made the decision to remove the comic. This is stupid. You're actually making fun.
But then beyond that, because you did, now they're going to think they can bully you on anything.
Yep. After the comic was posted to Twitter.
Good. Shocker. Twitter, you don't say.
Merryweather said he was barraged with insults, comments about death, and even a selfie someone took with him in real life saying that he should have been beaten up.
Over the fact that he made a joke about NFTs.
Yeah. When asked about what the comic was, a VTuber posted a link to Facebook where the comic was still available. The cartoon features a girl as an NFT constantly asking why everyone hates her. The comic then references how NFTs are contributing to climate change and ends with the girl embracing Mark Zuckerberg, who recently revealed that NFTs are coming to Instagram. So what if I scam people once? Yeah, this is critical of NFTs. So what if I'm a bit bad for the environment? So what if I scam people once in a while?
What if I'm a bit bad for the environment? Well, Twitter, there should be one of Twitter then, because, you know, the people that are so upset and ass mad about the environment have no problem spending hours and hours and hours on places like Twitter where, you know, yeah, it might not be to the same level, but it's doing damage. They don't care about that damage. They only care about the damage that's the outrage of the week.
Fans were quick to defend the streamer, but even suggested that by removing the comic, he was giving those who made threats what they want. Yeah.
It's true.
It is true.
It's a sticky situation.
We have done that in the past, and it's done nothing. Like when we first started doing this, if we would get backlash for something, sometimes we would take it down, or we'd, you know, do a video follow-up trying to clarify and backpedal, and now it's like...
Not backpedal, but clarify more.
Clarify things, and it's like, you know what? Here's the thing. You know, if we're in the wrong, legitimately in the wrong, we actually have done videos where we've walked things back. If somebody's just salty and mad, they're going to find whatever reason there is to be salty and mad. We've done videos that were very, very innocuous.
Most of our videos are very, very innocuous.
I would say 95% of our content is very tame. And we've had people get salty and angry. And it's like, you put flames on your thumbnails. Oh, Clownfish, how dare you be on the internet?
You think we're joking? That literally happened.
Yeah, it's like we got a bunch of fucking lemon grabs out there that are just constantly... Yeah, you know, just waiting for us to do something. And like literally, and I thought to myself as an adult, you're right, who has that kind of time to sit around the internet all day and wait for people they don't like online to fuck up or trip up on something so they can pounce? And I was watching a live stream the other night. It was actually Ethan Van Sciver. And he's having a problem with this Vicky chick or whatever her name is. And these people literally have been stalking him for like 4 years. And they apparently don't work. And they sit around the internet all day on forums and Twitter and whatever, waiting for him to fuck up.
Plotting ways to cause him and other people issues.
Yeah, and I thought it was like no adult, this has to be teenagers that send out threats like this, because no adult has this kind of time.
Well, you do when you don't. You sit at home all day.
There are people that their like entire identity is wrapped up in trying to get other people to, you know, just curl up and die. I don't understand.
Cause them as much trouble as
trouble as possible. But like, I mean, it's absolutely insane because I kept thinking to myself, like, nobody's got this much,
There's a lot of them, and they hang out on Twitter.
They do. They literally do.
And Kiwi Farms, apparently.
Yeah, this is what they do all day. I'm like, oh my God, that's
that one
fucking
person
sad.
That every time we were putting up videos, they were like going on about it because somehow they kept thinking that we were connected to the quartering, but we weren't. And they were like, "You just ripping off the quartering," and it's like, but I don't even watch the quartering. I don't even know what the quartering does videos on. And then sometimes when I went and looked when they were complaining, I'm like, but there's these times we had stuff first, and the quartering used it after we did because we're not connected in any way. And it's like, what the hell? And they had in their head, so they just would not stop. And it's like, but it wasn't even true. It doesn't matter if it's true.
It doesn't matter. There's just, I mean, the internet, the problem with, especially with no barrier to entry with it, Twitter or Tumblr or webcomics. We dealt with this shit in webcomics too. Not to this level, but with YouTube especially, is that, it does attract some crazy ass people. And, when they look at and they think you're more successful than they are.
Yeah, that seems to be the biggest one. That or cartoon shit.
We found out again, going back to the stuff I would kind of put out there to see what triggers who, and we actually do have a folder full of information on some of our serial harassers. So the police, by the way. But you look at it, and most of them are actually failed YouTubers. Like they
think that because they're on the internet, you're not going to find out who they are, but it's easy to find out who you are if you know who to ask.
And sometimes you annoy other people too, and they're more than happy to help.
Right. So anyway, back to the point. This happens, and people would totally send death threats and things like this shit over a parody from either side. Either they're mad that they're making fun of it, or they're mad that they just misunderstood it and they're stupid. It could go, I completely 100% believe this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anyway, Merryweather. Hey, guys, thanks for the messages. Don't worry too much about me. I've dealt with this thing before.
I'm sure Merryweather has.
We deal with it, and we deal with it differently now than we did, a couple of years ago. We're like, oh, my God, somebody's mad at us on the internet. Maybe it's something... Maybe we really need to have a moment of self-reflection. Then you realize that there's just a bunch of salty bitches, and it's like, there's nothing I can do to make you like anything we do.
So don't watch us.
Because you already have decided you don't like it. And that's not good enough either. Like, well, just, turn off YouTube. Don't watch us. Don't watch our channel. You can actually tell YouTube you don't want to be recommended our videos anymore. No! It's what makes me angry is that you exist.
Right, and that's what
holy shit.
Here's the thing. It's like, I would love to see what would happen if somebody just turned it on them and then just did everything to them what they were doing to everybody else.
They couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I just like to see what would happen.
Anyway, despite the threats, Merryweather remains in good spirits on his personal account. Thanks, fans. For their support and explaining.
Oh, no, he said the attacks didn't come from NFT people. It came from the usual people that harass me because they don't think the comics are funny. So he clarifies it wasn't even the NFT people. Okay, so it's not the people that support NFTs that are mad. Yeah. Because let's be honest, most of the people that they have a sense of humor. They don't. It's like, yeah, whatever, and they just keep scrolling. I mean, there are some crazies, but for the most part, the crazies do tend to lean to one side far more than the other.
Yeah.
And, they probably just keep scrolling. That's what I do. If I see something I don't like, I just keep scrolling. I'm just like, whatever, scroll, like most normal people.
Well, no, that's what it is. And that's what we found out, just in our own personal experience of people we know who we're dealing with. You find out, you dig into it, and it's like, what we're saying isn't the issue. It's the fact that they've already decided they didn't like us. In a lot of cases, we're more successful than they are, or they think we are. And they just want to lash out and be angry.
Well, yeah, that's just it too. Like half the time they're mad about things that they think we said that we didn't even say. Like, how many times do we see posts like, "Well, my friend said that they said," and I'm like, "No, we didn't."
Yeah. And you know what gets me though too is like, if you spent a fraction of the time working on your own shit that you spend attacking other people, and that was like that situation with Van Sciver and this Vicky person. I'm like, all that time that you spend obsessing about how much money Ethan Van Sciver's making, what bearing does that have on you? Like, why don't you go do your own thing? I don't understand that. Like, you're spending more time. We've joked before that people spend more time thinking about our channel than we spend thinking about our channel.
That's probably true.
we actually have other businesses that we run, other things that we're working on, and YouTube is just part of our day. But there are people that literally are obsessing about YouTubers, not just us, other YouTubers too, 24/7. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if you put a fraction of that effort into building your own stuff, building your own channel, you wouldn't have to be salty about other people.
Well, you have to get a personality up, and I love hearing these stories. It's like you ever hear someone like tell a rumor or a story about you, and it's gone through people, and it gets back to you. Like, did you? I heard about booth. That, and then it's like always more fun to listen to these stories from other people of what you supposedly did because they heard from a friend of a friend, and that's what happens to us all the time. Constantly. Well, they said this. I remember one time because when I'm on YouTube, the name I use is actually my name or my Desert Star account. I forget which one it is. But they didn't know I was Geeky Sparkles. So they were trying to argue with me on a video in the comments that I said something. Like, Geeky said this. And I'm like, well, no, I don't think that's what she said. She said this. No, she didn't. She said this is what her intention was. And I was like, I think I know what my intention was. Thank you very much. It's just, that surprises me. It doesn't surprise me in any way.
No, and especially when you're dealing with comics and animation art and that, there's some crazy batshit people out there. And some of them, I think, are just really obsessed with cartoons. And a lot of them, though, and we ran into this with comics, too. They're aspiring creators, or they, in a lot of cases, like, they don't actually make anything. They're just mad that you make stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember a conversation I had even before we got married. I was talking to a guy on like AOL. I mean, this is a long time ago. And he was mad. I was trying out for a comic. And he just started going into this rant. It was on one of their bulletin boards, and he was going on this rant about how he hated all artists because artists think they're better than everybody else, and they don't have to work real jobs. They just sit around and draw comics all day and get paid for, and how unfair it was. And then he started going into this whole life story about like all this shit. I'm like, so your problem isn't me. It's the fact that I draw, and you're angry that I draw and I get paid for drawing. Mm-hmm. That's literally what your problem is.
Right. So anybody who does is going to be mad at.
The problem is Merryweather's got 700,000 followers on Twitter. They don't, and
or they're just mad because they mostly because they misinterpreted what was put up. But other people pointed out, don't take it down because when you do that, it's never enough, and that's what happens. We keep telling these companies, if you sincerely owe somebody an apology, apologize. If you do, in this case, I don't think there was one owed. But then don't keep giving apologies for things that you didn't do wrong, and don't keep just bowing to this group of people just to make them happy, because they're just going to be happy for now, but then they think they control you. They think that they have agency over you, and all you have to do is whine. You're going to do whatever they want whenever they want it, and that's what's happening. Yeah,
die mad, you salty bitch.
Well, I wouldn't say die, but okay, stay mad.
Stay mad.
Stay mad, you salty bitch. And bitch can be gender neutral in my opinion.
There you go. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.